everybody, my name is Shannon and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and today we are talking about the anthology Because You Love to Hate Me, 13 Tales of Villainy. So the way that I heard about this is actually because obviously I am a huge fan of Marissa Mayer, who wrote the Lunar Chronicles. I follow her on Twitter and she was promoting this, and when I saw that she had a story and Sonen Shinani had a story, I was like, okay, yeah, I need to read this because I love, you know, fairy tale retellings, but I really love villain retellings, especially when they're done in a unique way. So I was really excited about this. What's also cool about this book is that it was also done with 13 different booktubers. So they basically were paired up with an author and then they gave them a challenge and the author had to write a story that fit the challenge that they gave them. And that really proved to make this a very interesting reading experience. I have to say, this is one of the best anthologies I have ever read because I loved so many of the stories. They were all so good. So just like how we did with Slasher Girls and Monster Boys, I'm going to go through each story, give a very brief review of it, and then we're going to talk about the book as a whole. So on your mark, get set, go. First up, The Blood of Ameriie by Renee Adith. Okay, so this book I only gave a 3.5 out of 5 because it was interesting, it was kind of cool, but it was also just kind of lame, straightforward, just guy kills his sister over a chess match, just kind of, you know, whatever. I didn't really get a feel for the world, although what was described of it was cool. I just feel like it needed more time, kind of felt a little robotic. Number 2, Jack by Ameriie. Alright, so this story made me laugh out loud. It's about a giant who's kind of like a vegan, and she goes on this really interesting, like almost Romeo and Juliet-esque like romance with Jack the Giant Slayer, and it is just so funny. The ending like totally caught me off guard. I was not expecting that, and I'm only giving it a 4.5 because I wish that the ending hadn't have come out of nowhere, but it was hilarious, so it was pretty great. Number 3, Gwen and Art and Lance by Sonen Shinani. I loved this. Alright, so it's text-based, so it's all throughout like text message, instant messenger, that kind of stuff, which I already really like because it lets you like build and interpret the world through just these main characters and how they interact with each other, and I thought it was really cool because it's, you know, the tale of Guinevere and Lancelot, but it also has like a Persephone and, you know, Hades kind of twist on it. It was really interesting. I really loved it, and Sonen Shinani is just one of my favorites, so definitely 5 out of 5. Number 4, Shirley and Jim by Susan Dennard. Okay, so this one was also one of my favorites, gave it a 4.5. This was a young Moriarty tale, so it had like Sherlock, but she was a girl, and we had Moriarty, and obviously their dynamic is just amazing, but what I really loved about it was that it was told as if Shirley was writing a letter to the John Watson character, and her tone of voice, the way she told the story, was really awesome, and I really loved that. The Blessing of Little Once by Sarah Enni. Alright, this was one of my least favorite. I did give it a 3 just because I liked the commentary behind it, but for the most part, no, I didn't like it at all. The characters were very robotic. I didn't really understand what was happening. The reveal didn't make any sense. I mean, I kind of knew that's where they were going, but it still was like weird. I don't feel like it fit very well, and the commentary afterwards talking about how great of a villain this was, I didn't buy at all, so yeah, just not the best. The Sea Witch by Marissa Mayer. Oh my god, The Sea Witch by Marissa Mayer. Definitely 5 out of 5. This was like one of my favorite stories in the entire book because, I mean, it's an Ursula retelling, but it was so strict to the original like telling of The Little Mermaid. But what would have happened if The Little Mermaid had actually stabbed the prince and got her tail back? That was so cool. I loved the fun twist on it, and it was just like, yeah, totally awesome, totally blew me away. It wasn't as amazing as The Little Android, but it was still really great. Beautiful Venom by Cindy Pon, also 5 out of 5. This one was my favorite story in the entire one because of how it talked about rape culture, because that's exactly what it was. It was the tale of Medusa and what happens to Medusa when she's blamed for something that she couldn't help. She was sexually assaulted and she has to pay for it, and that was insane. I loved the commentary behind it. I loved everything about this story. It was so good, and I feel like everybody, if you don't want to read this book, fine, but you have to pick it up and at least read this one because it will change your life. Death Now by Victoria Schwab. I just can't really get into Victoria Schwab books. I only gave this one a 3.5, mostly because in her typical style, it was really interesting, full of a lot of like metaphor and symbolism, all that kind of stuff, but I just don't ever feel for her characters. They're a little bit too dark and dreary and dramatic for me, I think, and I also am just not a fan of trying to outsmart death stories. Just because of my own personal headcanons for how death should be, so I think that kind of also interferes with it. But yeah, it's a solid not bad out of greatness. Marigold by Samantha Shannon, also 5 out of 5, because this one also talks about just like you're in Victorian society, and it talks about how like girls are just like disregarded and people don't pay attention to them, and oh, just give them something pretty and they'll forget, and oh, they just cry over such easy things, and we must save her from this monster, but weirdly we're the monster. And it was just so cool. It really makes you think, and I did really like the end. I kind of felt bad for the main character, but I still think he had it coming. You, It's All About You by Adam Silvera, so I gave this one a 4.5. It was not bad. I'm not a huge fan of the second person point of view, but I think it really worked out well here, and I do like the whole thing where it was talking about like how you hide behind a mask because you don't want people to know your past, but in this story, her mask told the story of her past, but people don't realize that because they don't get close enough. But what I really liked about this was that this villain was so just psychotic, and it was perfect. I loved it. She was just so like deliciously evil, and it just made me really happy. Julianne Breaks Every Rule by Andrew Smith, so solid not bad, 3.5. I thought it was funny. It definitely made me laugh, but I didn't really understand, is he supposed to have like superpowers? Is he making people dead? Is he like a Damien thing? And I mean, like, I totally sympathize him. I know he's supposed to be like a psychopath, but like, come on, I wanted that guy dead too because he was like awful, and I also wanted his best friend dead. Like, everybody sucks in this whole book, and then it just like, what even was that ending? Like, I don't know, man. I mean, it was good, it was entertaining, but just too many unanswered questions, and just no. Indigo Shade by April Genevieve Tehulke. Yeah, so 2.5. I think we've established after Wink Poppy Midnight that April Genevieve Tehulke is just not my cup of tea. Like always, this story is full of like really pretty imagery. I really love like the colors and everything that she uses, but it's a retelling of Gaston. I don't care what you say, you cannot make me like Gaston because he's still a misogynistic bastard, and I just did not agree with anything in the story. It just made me angry, and just, yeah, I did not like reading it. Sarah by Nicola Yoon. So this one I gave a 4, mostly just because I thought it was really interesting, and kind of like before, it made me a little bit angry because I felt for this girl. I feel like we should have gotten it from her perspective, not from the mother's. I hated the mom the entire time. I didn't like the sister. I'm like, what? I understand that she's like this demon child, but still, like, she's got feelings too, like, come on. But it was still really well done, so that's why its score gets bumped up. But like, come on, like, she can't help it. She just wanted to be loved. She can't help that she's a creepy demon child. All right, so when you average in all of those scores, this comes out to be about a 4 out of 5, and I am giving it a solid B+. Like I said in the beginning, I really loved a lot of these stories, and it was just so much fun to read, especially just the commentaries behind it. They were always good for a laugh. I really wish now that all books came with like a little like, let's talk about the book afterwards, because it was just really fun, and it made you think, and it kind of allowed me to like read what they were saying and then like think about what I was gonna say. And like, I don't normally write in books, but I wrote all over this book, just like everything I was feeling about it. It was really cool, and I definitely recommend it for like anybody because it's just so much fun. There are so many different types of stories, so many different types of villains, and this is exactly what I want to see in an anthology book. As always, it's not all of the stories are going to be the best. You're going to like more than others, but this one is definitely very well done. Highly recommend it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you can talk books with me every Monday. That is everything got for today, guys. I will see you next time. Bye!